And another spooktacular review lined up for you guys. Today's spooky spot, we're going to be looking at the Toys R Us exclusive Universal Monsters, home of the original Monsters, Universal Studios. We're looking today at the Mummy figure. Again, a Toys R Us exclusive. Not many of these were released, and I believe I can thank my good friend, the Review Revolution, for sending this my way. He sent this to me a while back, actually, and I figured I'd hold off and shoot the review of this for next Halloween. It is now next Halloween. We've now zipped ahead, and now I get a chance to review these guys for you. Down up the top, we've got a picture of the Universal Studios Frankenstein's monster, home of the original monsters. And on the back, the other monsters that you can get in this set. We've got the Wolfman, the Creature of the Black Lagoon, and the Mummy. It says be sure to be on the lookout for Universal Monsters Mini-Mates from Diamond Select Toys. And it says up at the top, beginning in 1923, Universal Pictures began a series of movies later integrated under the Universal Monsters banner that changed film forever. These monsters created some of the most iconic characters in film history. And the read-up on the Mummy says the Mummy was originally released in 1932 and owes the roots of its inspiration to the real-life opening of Tutankhamun's tomb. The cursed Egyptian priest Imhotep is accidentally revived when an archaeologist reads an ancient, life-giving scroll amongst the tomb's artifacts. One thing I want to do this Halloween that I haven't had a chance to do the other Halloweens, I want to actually go through some of the classic horror movies. Of course, The Mummy being one of them. But that is packaging aside. What we're going to do is we're take a break, and we will open up the package to the Mummy and unleash the Mummy figure for your viewing pleasure. Stay tuned, guys. There is more on the way. Ooh. And before we actually look at the Mummy, there's actually a little pamphlet that's inside the packaging, which I think is as equally cool as the figure itself. If I just open this up here, you'll actually see the Universal Studios logo, home of the original monsters. It says the Mini-Mates down below. There's a nice picture of the Universal Studios Mini-Mates up the top there, with also a little picture of the Mini-Mates on the side there. If I flip it around, it shows some of the figures. By the way, I said in the packaging, the Creature of the Black Lagoon. Obviously, I meant Creature from the Black Lagoon. There's a box set for those. There's the black and white Toys R Us exclusive Wolfman and Creature. Wolfman series as well. There are some retro cloth figures going on there. And then there's the Wolfman, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Creature from the Black Lagoon Select figure from the Marvel Select, I guess Diamond Select, sorry, and the Diamond Select Mummy. So there you go. Let's fold this up, get this out of the way. Let's have a look at the Mummy. I'm a little disappointed. I am honestly a little disappointed by the figure. Before we actually look at the figure itself, we'll look at the display stand that the Mummy came with. I don't even think the Mummy's going to properly stand. You know what? He lays down enough in his life. I'm sure he's used to it. We'll just lay him down right now. The Mummy stand comes with what looks to be a vase, I guess, something shattered on the side there. There's also a chest. There's a scroll. Nothing really written on the scroll, which I think is a bit of a missed opportunity. They could have put like hieroglyphics or something on it instead of just a blank scroll. The chest doesn't open. It's just a solid piece of plastic. But the base is a little disappointing. It kind of looks like on the top there that there's just some organs. It doesn't even look like it's, I'm assuming it's shattered, a vase or something like that. But the stand is just alright. I mean, there is nothing really to write home about. It's just alright. Speaking of just alright, unfortunately I don't really have a lot of great news for this figure either. I will say, if anything, the sculpt on the face is relatively nice. I think the face isn't too bad. The paint is decent enough. In fact, the paint is pretty decent on the entire body of the figure. We've got this really, really nice gray. There's some beige wash in there as well. There's a lot going on in the way of paint. Unfortunately, that's about as far as it goes. I mean, there's really not a lot to be said for the figure. Don't expect to be getting this figure thinking you're going to get a lot of articulation, or the figure's really going to do a lot more than what you're just seeing right now. Couple problems I have is really, aside from the head, the shoulders, and not really even in the hands, slightly in the hands, not too much. Aside from these areas here, the rest of the figure is just a statue. It's just a plastic statue. Sure, okay, you could say, well, he's bandaged. You don't want to take away from the sculpt by having some articulation, but some would be better than none. And unfortunately, the figure suffers from the fact that it's really, there's not a lot from neck to toes. There's no articulation to speak of, which is a bit of a shame. Of the articulation that's available, the head does rotate left and right, although right around here it gets stuck that you can't really move it any further, but you can move it pretty much, you can move it a lot further on the one side than the other. The shoulders can move out, the arms can rotate, but I gotta level with you, the whole time that I'm moving these arms, they feel like they're gonna pop right out of the socket. They feel really, really loose, and they don't feel like they're very secure in there. There is no articulation in the arms, in the elbows, anything like that. There appears to be some mild articulation in the hands, but I feel like when I'm rotating the hands, I'm hitting resistance. And usually hitting resistance is an indicator that you don't want to be turning these hands too much, or they're going to come right off. The one side more so, this one hand here, getting him out of package, his hand is in a permanent, how about some change? He's in that, how about some change gesture. I don't know, perhaps if a zombie, getting off topic here, perhaps if a mummy was to be asking me for change, I would say likely give him change. I don't know what he would really be buying with his change, but likely give it to him. When I got him out of the package, I thought, oh, I'll just simply turn his hand, but it definitely doesn't seem like his hand wants to turn. In fact, when you turn it, it just wants to go back to the way it was before. It kind of makes me think that this is the position, this is the pose that you want to really have him in. You can have him down there, but it just kind of looks silly, like he's like, hey, give me 5. Up here, he's like, no, really, give me 5. In other words, give me $5. He has peg holes on the bottom that you can plug into his base, which only then adds to more disappointment, because first of all, the pegs don't sit in there all that well, and when you do have him finally pegged, there we go, into place, he does want to lean forward, as you can see right here. Turn him sideways, you can get a better feel for it. The figure is just all right. I know with there are Marvel Select, I believe, Marvel Select figures being released. If not, by the time you're watching this review, I think sometime during late September, early mid-October, so probably by the time you are watching this, the Marvel Select figures are out. They seem a much more superior bunch of figures to be getting, or the Diamond Select figures seem a much more better purchase than to go with these figures here. They are alright for some horror fans out there who just really don't want to do too much with the figures, but the fact that they don't have any articulation is a bit of a disappointment to me. I kind of wish they would have had that. At any rate, today's spooky spot, a bit of a pass, I think, if you ask this guy. Today's spooky spot, we were having a look at the Universal Studios, Universal Monsters, home of the monsters. I don't know, perhaps I would be trying another home. Today we were looking at the Mummy. Just alright. He's just alright. And anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more spooky spots on the way. And I'll see you guys next time. Woo!